Good morning and welcome all our dear founders and our esteemed investors. Today's Christmas edition of Startup Investor Pitch Lunch is our final event of 2025. I am Tanya Mitchell. I'm the founder of Mission to Mars Academy and the curator and host of Startup Investor Pitch Lunch, an online platform where global founders get direct access to Silicon Valley and international investors. Startup Investor Pitch Lunch is a global live event where talent meets capital, where carefully selected disruptive startup founders get connected with active angel investors, venture funds, and family offices in the United States and globally. For our founders, our program is a shortcut to visibility in front of multiple investors at once, opportunity to get a real-time investor reactions and feedback to your pitches, and also an opportunity for meaningful follow-up conversations that lead to successful investment deals. For investors, this is a high-signal deal discovery session, as we curate showcase the most disruptive startups from top emerging ecosystems from around the world. 2025 has been shaped by rapid technological shifts in AI innovation, and 2026 promises even greater acceleration of AI revolution in Silicon Valley and beyond. As we come to the end of this year, this Christmas pitch event creates a momentum to close this year with high potential investment deals that can bring you your next unicorn you've been looking for and become a real game changer for the world. As we look ahead into 2026, we hope that for our founders, it will mark a start of new meaningful partnerships with prominent Silicon Valley players. For example, at the end of this year, our program got an invitation from Tesla team to explore potential collaboration on future pitch events. So we are super excited about this opportunity and many opportunities waiting for our founder and investor community in 2026. Today's session is a celebration of innovation progress and a discovery of what is next. Today's Christmas Investor Pitch Lunch brings together a curated group of startups building solutions across multiple verticals and sectors: AI, robotics, compliance, healthcare, voice technology, and revenue intelligence, you name it. And all of these companies you will meet here today are planning to scale not just to the United States, but globally. Today, you will hear at our virtual stage from 6 outstanding disruptive startup companies. And they are Euro, moving the world safely towards human-centered robotics; RegCheck, AI-powered compliance gap analysis, simulating real regulatory reviews; Chamber AI, transforming predictive technologies into scalable revenue streams; Amplifirm, an AI voice platform delivering enterprise results at 90% lower cost; Newton Graph, the AI thinking partner transforming information into interactive knowledge graphs; and MedHugs, a doctor-led brand reinventing daily vitamins through mouse-dissolving stripes. And in our investor panel today, we have an exceptional group of early-stage investors, angels, venture funds, and family offices, including active angel investors from Silicon Valley, Washington, D.C., Miami, Europe, and beyond. Among the investors who RSVP'd for this event today are Bon Korn, Venrock Capital; Todd Yancey, angel investor from Silicon Valley; Carl Jones from Insight Ventures; Kai Wang from Alta Park Capital; Manny Fernandez, angel investor from Silicon Valley; Fabiano from Miami Family Office, Parabellum Family Office; Martin Koyev from Private Investment Group in Washington, D.C., Koyev Brothers; Paul Weinstein from Azure Capital; Errol Parker from EY Parker Assets Angel Group, Jay Latta, angel investor from Europe and United States, and also angel investors Philip Alvida, Stefan Recki, Harshit Omar, Mikhail Sidak from Outlander VC, Shubham Desai from Curate Forum, Andrea Lee from Lee Family Office, Dmitry Dubagrayev from Femida US, Washington, D.C., Eric Lloyd from Barings Group, and Jess Svoboda from Ridgeback Capital, and many other investors who will be watching the recording of this event throughout the holiday season and reviewing your pitch decks after this session. So make sure to bring your A game today. So if there are any investors in the room who I did not name, you can introduce yourself when you'll be asking your questions. Dear investors, thank you for being with us here today. I'm sure our founders will make it worth your time, and this pitch event will meet your ROI metrics. Now that we got inspiration from our brilliant investor panel, let's move on to the pitches. A quick instruction for our founders today. Each company will have exactly 5 minutes to pitch, followed by 5 to 7 minutes of investor Q&A. You're welcome to share your screen, do your demo, and make the most of your time. Just please be mindful of the clock. During pitches, everyone will stay muted, and after each pitch, I will invite selected investors to lead the Q&A session. Then we can open the floor for additional questions. Investors, you can raise your hand or drop your questions in the chat during the pitches. Please feel free to be active. Our founders are here specifically to hear your unfiltered feedback and your insights. All right, and with that, let's proceed to the pitches. I want to invite to our virtual stage our first presenting company, Euro, moving the world towards safe human-centered robotics. And Dr. Yulia Sandomirskaya, you're welcome to share with us what you're building.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, for taking your time to listen to our pitches and your feedback. And thank you, Tatiana, for offering this stage for all of us to present. Okay, let's see if the technology works. Sharing the screen. Sharing the presentation. Does it look good?
Awesome. Yeah.
Welcome. All right, so we're Euro. Our motto is towards human-centered robotics. We are an aspiring spin-off from Zurich University of Applied Sciences. This is where I reach out to you today, from Zurich. I'm Yulia Sandomirskaya. I'm currently a professor at this university. Me and my team are building this startup. Let me set some context first. I think it's not a secret and it's pretty clear to most people that we have a lack of labor worldwide. I have some numbers from here from Switzerland. We have 15,000 nurses missing already now, and the projection to year 29 is 70,000 nurses are missing. So it's not that we are aiming to replace any workforce with robotics. It's just that young people are not very willing to do a lot of the so-called 3D jobs, dirty, dull, and dangerous. And those nurses who are there, so this has been a study by PwC, that 30% of their time they do auxiliary tasks. They're just running around, they're running a lot of kilometers, walking around the hospital, doing things that are not obligatory what they made their studies for. This reduces the quality of care, the quality of services. I have healthcare here as an example. There are other sectors where the problem persists. The hope are the humanoid or so-called cognitive robots. We can have a long argument whether these robots need legs or not, but we definitely need robots that are multi-purpose, that are versatile, where one robot can do many different tasks and not have like automation for one specific task. Today, the promise is that these robots will be relatively easy to program because the large foundational models will take care of most of that. We can do teaching by demonstration, and there's a lot of money flowing into this field now, robotics plus AI. Now, the big multi-billion question is whether we will manage to go beyond, pretty dancing and teleoperated robots to robots that actually autonomously can do all those tasks which only humans can do today. So the problem, why I pose this problem. And the problem in robotics has always been perception. If you want robots that can interact with humans or even work next to humans safely, they need very good perception that needs to be integrated in safe motion control. And I don't know how much you know about robotics, but control needs to run very fast at kilohertz. That's what is called real time in robotics. And for this, it needs to be on board. You cannot really use large server in your control loop, which is somewhere on the Wi-Fi network. And you also need fast adaptation because things might change very quickly, the parameters of your controller. Now, if we, on the other hand, look at our large AI world models or even simple computer vision of your favorite choice, it is usually relatively slow. It's not so slow to watch a movie with some detections, but it is slow for robotics, hundreds of milliseconds for detection to process those images. Usually it requires large server, at least in the corner of the room, and learning is very slow. Weeks and months of training. So if you have a new object that you need this robot to take into account, new behavior, it takes months of training. So there's a gap between these two worlds. And the gap is threefold. It's the latency gap, how fast you get your detections. It's the power consumption gap. Can you put your compute on board of the robot running on the battery? And it's also the amount of data gap. How much data do we have in robotics? How much time, energy, and money are we ready to spend to collect the data that will be nearly enough? So Euro is there to close this gap by providing real-time vision system and brain-inspired AI that can seamlessly be integrated into motion control of robots. That allows robot to see while they are moving, not only stop, make nice picture, make processing, and continue, but see as the robot is moving. This will allow them to interact with humans safely and also learn on the fly. How do we do that is not so simple. Now that would be the due diligence task. I have 20 years of experience of developing neurally based controllers for robotics. 10 of them are in the field of neuromorphic computing. So we work with event-based sensors, which are fast but low power cameras that can give you equivalent of 10,000 frames per second at low power. We combine them with other sensors, with depth sensor, RGB, touch and motion sense. We use brain-inspired neuromorphic computing. These are AI algorithms, which are not deep learning, which are different neural network-based algorithms that allow us to do object detection and tracking and 3D all-around vision in real time with less than 10 millisecond delay. They also have continual learning and memory formation, SLAM, additional perks. And we can do integration in the controller of robot arm seamlessly with virtual mechanisms and have a vision-driven mobile manipulation that can enable safety features. Yes, so this is again kind of summarizing. We have 5 millisecond latency, so real-time control. We do semantic analysis with object identification like hands, faces, places. Geometric analysis with positions in 3D and poses of objects, and soft vision-driven control. And this is the way how we can get to mobile manipulation next to humans, something that you probably haven't seen yet in all those trendy videos. The sector that we aim at is service robotics. Now, service robotics is quite big. These are the products just from one company, Puru. There are a bunch of other companies worldwide in the US, in Europe, and China, of course, as well. So these are robots that should do some little services, mobile services, but also logistics and manipulation in hospitals, elderly homes, care at home, but also in retail, offices, and so on. This market is growing. I don't think that I have to emphasize it too much. And you can calculate how many of those smart cameras and controllers for these robots one can sell. There's, of course, competition. We are aware of that. There are a bunch of cameras, companies that build smart cameras, but these cameras are not offer you real-time processing during motion. They offer you wonderful analysis of static images. There are event-based cameras, and there's a bunch of companies who bring them on the market, but those only offer low-level vision algorithms. They give you very fast events about changes in the world, but no other analytics. That's then the task of the customer to do that, and that's not an easy task. And then there are, of course, foundational models, so people just train models end-to-end for robot control. But there you have slow processing, hallucinations, the whole package that you get with large models, large neural network models. We put our competition on this chart where we are in this corner where we are fast and energy efficient while doing advanced processing, 3D vision and semantics identification. No one else is doing that at the moment in the market. Our go-to-market strategy, so we are somewhere down here. Our customers, all those hospitals, care facilities, hotel, restaurants, they are up there. Between us, there are application developers or integrators. We work with some of these companies closely already. They buy robots from robot manufacturers with whom we interact and try to integrate our sensor in those platforms, or the integrators can take our camera and the robots. And we also have connection to large ecosystem of care facilities, hospitals, and trying to better understand the use cases and the tasks that the robot should do, so that then we can have successful deployments. This is the team. So that's me. These are my business development partners. Kainan Eng has a lot of experience in building event-based cameras. This is my technical team, partially currently at the university, partially will join us from other companies, Fortis, Intel, and that's my team. We have a very strong advisory board with some leading roboticists from ETH and some collaborators from robot integrator companies. All right. I'm coming from Zurich. We haven't founded the company yet. We would like to found the company in Switzerland. We can talk about that with investors. I know you might have other preferences, but we can talk about why I think Switzerland and Zurich is a wonderful place to have a company. It has access to world-class global businesses with cutting-edge research, with major companies like Google, Microsoft, Meta, Disney, IBM, and many others, along with 540 startups have their quarters in or have their offices in Zurich. It has robust legal framework, skilled talent pool with ETH and EPFL. Zurich is a hub ranked first in smart city and friendliest city in Europe, has top infrastructure and vibrant, safe environment, as well as top talent. So if you don't know about Zurich yet, I'll tell you it's time to learn about it. And I think that's it. So I think our technology is necessary to move towards robots that can work next to humans. And we're happy to get your support in this.
All right, congratulations, very impressive. Well, investors who will be asking the question, robots, very trendy. Jay Latta, please.
Yes, thank you for the presentation, Julia. Honestly, I'm a little bit shocked that you have in Switzerland the same problems like, for example, Germany, and you pay your people far better. I guess in the US it would be the same, not much money. So, of course, this is needed. Switzerland is really very surprising because mostly they've been like some kind of epicenter in Europe with the salaries. What you've described is more or less the same stuff that I've heard in automotive when I've been working for now, one of the biggest players, which means self-driving cars and so bandwidth, latency, yada, yada, all of this stuff. So this is a little bit similar. We've also tried to deal here with neuromorphic computing. So, of course, our preferred partner was Intel and all of their spin-offs. You might know these people. So my question here is, as first on your competition list, I've not seen these guys because as first, Intel has own the Movidius chip, which turned out to be very interesting, but neuromorphic becomes tired, so you can't run it 24/7. So you will need multiple devices that work in shifts like humans. This is the first note. The second thing is the system. So here in what was the name for the company? They made the IQ, which is this kind of neuromorphic chip with the multiple cameras simply for autonomous driving. I know that these guys are also seeking for any kind of use cases beside automotive because automotive is simply collapsing. So here, about your competition, about what kind of hardware do you use, what kind of proprietary hardware maybe it is. The next thing that I'm bringing up on the table is, of course, healthcare is a tricky bitch. It's highly regulated, liability, error handling, which is beyond fun. The procurement in healthcare is extremely slow. They are using hardware that belongs to a museum. I've seen just recently in a hospital a machine that runs on Windows for work groups. You can imagine how old this is. So how are you connected into this landscape? How do you want to build something that fits into this compliance, into these narratives?
All right, I'll go one by one. So
Yeah,
first,
sure.
the analogy with automotive and autonomous driving is, of course, a little bit there. I think autonomous driving is a more challenging, has been from the beginning a more challenging market because it is much more mature market with prices being really squeezed down and the safety regulations and so on. You are at a higher speed. Your perception task is a little bit easier. Your distances that you're interested in are a little bit higher. So they actually don't need this neuromorphic speed like event-based cameras, right? That's something Movideos also looked into event-based cameras and they said, guys, we don't need this microsecond latency. We have a couple of meters usually for our detections. And then just the market, like, the car companies, they have been around for a while. It's very competitive. The price kind of is very, very low that they can afford for a sensor, for instance, that they integrate in their stack. I have been at Intel for 3 years at Intel Labs, neuromorphic computing lab. I have been leading a bunch of projects on neuromorphic computing. I know the field very, very well. I know it almost too well to rely on this hardware for our product. So Movideos is one system. Our architectures, they fit more like truly neuromorphic chips, like Loihi too. Loihi is a research chip. I didn't make it to a product yet. I still have my hopes. I know the group still exists, although Intel Labs doesn't exist anymore. I know a couple spin-offs from that group that are in neuromorphic space. They don't aim at robotic companies. We don't see them as a competition. We see them as a suppliers. As soon as there's a neuromorphic hardware that's good enough, brain chip, Spinnaker, Loihi, you name it. I know there are a couple of spin-offs that now people work on. We will just take it. As long as it's not there, we make sure that our algorithms are lightweight, asynchronous, can run on existing hardware. A CPU, NVIDIA GPU, a Jetson, FPGA, if we really need to process a lot of information. We collaborate with a company in Belgium. They are FPGA expert, like top experts. They can implement solutions for us on FPGA where we really need very high speed. But so far we have been doing fine with NVIDIA Jetson, just being able to program the shaders ourselves and have some flexibility with our models there. So that's on the hardware side. So we see neuromorphic not as a competition, but as a supplier. Healthcare. So we specifically don't target healthcare as touching the patient. We are services, cleaning, information delivery, logistics in the corridors. So it's still corridors shared with people. This is the novelty. And we want a robot with arms that can grab things and then distribute them into rooms in hospitals, for instance. The regulatory environment is much, much simpler there. Our device will not be classified as a healthcare device. It's a service robot, like a vacuum cleaning robots that are already deployed in hospitals here in Switzerland. Here we have a little bit of luxury in Switzerland. Hospitals have a little bit more money. It's still not completely easy, but talking to this logistics department and facility management departments, it's a little bit easier job than really having a healthcare device, surgical robot or what's not. We deliberately wanted to avoid that. We have regulatory bodies in our on our radar, cantons here in Switzerland, and also Bund and trying to pitch to lobby there to facilitate approvals and regulations. Seems to work because the hospitals already today buy those autonomous robots. There are a lot of problems with them, but yeah, the safety seems to be good enough for them, at least for mobile robots.
Okay, thank you. So it makes it's a little bit clearer right now. So when you are focusing on all of these bystanding work completely, but then of course you are heading into another problem, which means data privacy. Because if these are owned by someone else and they are recording constantly, Especially right now with a little bit stronger way in Switzerland to regulate the local AI, to regulate any kind of sovereignty. So this is, of course, something extremely interesting if you would, of course, provide a local compute that whoever needs it will have somewhere in the basement. Okay, very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. So we do take privacy very seriously. Everything we need for moment-to-moment control of the robot, all those images get disposed immediately. We don't save them, we don't sell them, and we reprocess them on board of the robot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. With specifically a very loaded conversation, you guys might want to take a one-on-one meeting to continue. So, all right. Okay, Stefan, now I can see you. I was counting investors in the room. So I suggest that we proceed to whoever has a question to Julia, please feel free to type in the chat room. To maintain our rhythm, I would suggest proceeding to the next company, and then if we have more time at the end, we can discuss further. Sounds good? Okay, awesome, Julia. We will be sharing all your information with our pool of investors, so we'll be getting more questions. All right, and Jay, we're really happy you're here because we have today 2 or even 3 companies from Europe, and your take as an investor investing in Europe can be really valuable for these companies. Next, I would like to invite to our virtual stage company RegCheck, AI-powered compliance gap analysis simulating real regulatory reviews, and its founder Anna-Marie Makarova. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. First check of my screen that I'm sharing. Can you see?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Can you see the main first slide of my?
Yes, we do see the slide. Perfect.
Perfect. Okay, great. Hi, everyone from Switzerland as well, from Zurich as well. And thank you, everyone, for being here and for the great pitch until now. And after that one, I'll start with a confession or a warning to you. The field of our business is boring, okay? It's regulatory compliance, and that's exactly why it's so lucrative. A few years ago, I was a regulatory manager in a medtech company. We had a working product, paying customers, and traction. And we almost went bankrupt because we got stuck in regulatory review loops, months of back and forth with auditors, thousands of pages of manual documentation, late surprises. And every delay meant cash burn, missed revenue, and existential risk for our young company. That frustration is why I started RegCheck. We are a Swiss startup, and we are building an AI auditor that simulates those regulatory compliance audit reviews and therefore predicts their outcomes instead of betting on good luck passing them for the regulated businesses. Here's the problem. 60% of those compliance failures come down to documentation. Manual human errors, incomplete and inconsistent files. The impact of that is brutal. Not only these penalties in billions, but delayed market access and reputational damage. Now, back to our story. If you want to sell a medical or any other device in Europe, you need a CE mark, meaning comply to yet another new regulation. And today, 75% of medical device certification applications fail on first submission, mainly due to those documentation gaps. And this isn't inconvenient, it's existential. Every failed audit means months of delays and millions of costs. So what do we change for the regulated businesses? RegCheck performs a regulatory mock audit. You upload your regulatory and technical documentation on one side, and our tool decomposes the official regulations into individual interdependent requirements, and then it checks every requirement against your documents. It flags gaps and shows the evidence exactly as a real auditor would do. You can see our demo yourself under this link that will be shared with you also. Our initial pilot customers describe this as a pre-audit confidence package that cuts the audit preparation time by 40%, late stage non-compliances by 60%, and time to market by 30%. The global testing, inspection, and certification market is more than 250 billion, growing steadily, but our entry point is focused and urgent. The European medtech compliance, a 3 to 5 billion serviceable market with hard regulatory deadlines through 2028. Now, we start selling to regulatory consultancies, the intermediaries having the trust, knowledge, and data from their clients. For them, it means faster revenue and survival, therefore paying premium to the consultancies. And for consultants, it means reputation, which is everything for them. We are just actively running 2 parallel pilots, one already converted into our first paying customer. We are in active discussions with all Big Fours, consultancies, and certification bodies as well right now, and getting to the point where demand is ahead of our capacity, and that's why we are here today. Why us? Our edge obviously isn't the AI. That's how we build it. We built custom extraction algorithms, regulatory dependency graphs, but most importantly, a collaborative intelligence pool that is fed by proprietary partner data sets. That's hard to copy, and that's our moat, becoming bigger and bigger over time with the usage of our tool. Our team, I come from medtech regulation. As I told you, I lived this pain firsthand. Our CTO has decades of experience as a software leader at companies like Shell and Oracle, and is a serial entrepreneur. Our strategic partner has already built tens of software companies, and has given us the first leverage with their ecosystem. And the R&D project was awarded a prestigious Swiss grant and runs at one of the best universities in the world, ETH Zurich. We are raising a 1.7 million round on a post-money safe with a 8 million cap. This capital will give us 12 months runway to do 3 very specific things. Convert these pilots with which we have now into enterprise contracts. Second, harden the product to audit grade reliability that is necessary in our field. And third, build a repeatable go-to-market motion in Europe, so it becomes our beachhead, not our ceiling, that we are ready to go globally. If we execute, we can reach a clear product market fit with this, strong recurring revenue, and we are ready to scale globally or become an acquisition target for a major auditing player. We would like to go for an early exit soon. So this is our ask, and I guess I'm running out of time, and we'll be happy to get questions from you.
All right, Anna-Marie, congrats on your presentation. And we have investors in the room who wants to ask a question, provide feedback. I would prefer to hear it from somebody who we haven't heard from yet. Marty, for example, we have Fabiano in the room from Miami Family
Just a quick question for Anna-Marie. Anna, can you tell me why you're raising capital after just having your first paying client? Don't you want to get a couple of more sales going on, and so a little bit more traction so investors see more meat on the bone per se?
Yes, we are not in a rush. We are looking how it is. We have had actually an offer from a European VC, honestly at a lower valuation, but we are here because we are building for a global scale. We need the speed and want partners who think that way. So as soon as we have have more demand, which is coming now, we would like to be ready. And yes, we could go sometime on basically bootstrapping or with a lower capital, but we need to go full speed to be competitive also.
Makes sense. And I would love to hear from either Manny Fernandez or Stefan Reiki also joined. Do you have any advice, feedback, questions for Anne-Marie?
Just feedback. I mean, this is not my area of thesis investment, but good presentation. I think you're presenting things logically, and I like the fact that you're not in a rush or a push and desperate to get the money. So stay firm, keep the valuation high, and keep the course.
Yeah, definitely on the right track, I can say, as there is also a founder market fit. And I think, Anne-Marie, you're the perfect representation of a strategic and a rational founder. So good job on your strategy. Also, it's never too early to start talking to investors. So that is why we will definitely share your pitch with our network and see maybe somebody wants to join early on. Manny Fernandez, are you here? Also, maybe
yes, I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Manny, do you have any thoughts for Anne-Marie?
I have no comments at this time. Thank you. Keep going.
All right. Okay. So I know we have one founder here who needs to run to another meeting at in 15 minutes, so I would need to let them present, but we can continue conversation about all the pitching startups in the chat room or afterwards this pitch event. I also noticed that there are a lot of AI agents sent to our meeting by investors who are either traveling or because I see like a handful of those AI note takers who were not able to enter the room for some settings, whatever mismatch. So those investors will be, which means they were intending to attend, but they will be watching or I guess reading their AI agent summaries from this meeting. Anyways, so on that note, let me bring to the stage our next presenting company, and that would be Chamber AI, transforming predictive technologies into scalable revenue streams. And its founder, Jean Fain. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. I really appreciate you having us on and accommodating us today. Greetings, everyone, from Pasadena, California. I am here with my co-founder, Eric Prisbilla. And what Chambre does is, in short, we predict the future. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. My background is I come originally from the entertainment business, where I produced over 250 episodes of network television, a lot of music, everything from Eric Clapton to Bob Dylan to Prince to Jay-Z. And then I went into technology through music and fell in love with invention. I have 149 US patents now across a wide range of technologies, scores of which have to do with predictive technologies. Patented our first algorithm in 2001 at Digital Music Network for music predictive and recommendation services, and have been way into prediction ever since then. Eric Prisbilla, my partner, long-time Accenture consultant, highly skilled in project delivery, highly skilled in back-end infrastructure technologies, built the first major healthcare back-end infrastructure technology for WellPoint, which became Blue Cross Blue Shield. And so it is I also just have to say it is just an absolute pleasure to work with Eric every day, and makes this job all the more fun. So what we are doing at Shambra is we are using a predictive formula, a master predictive formula, to predict the future of pricing across various markets, from commodities to currencies. And we've had quite a bit of success in the past with this. So I alluded before to the 149 US patents that I have. When you patent, when you invent, you are essentially predicting the future. And my record of monetizing those patents is 100%. 100% of those 149 patents are sold or licensed, mostly to Fortune 500 companies across a wide range of prestigious clients like Bill Gates Global Good Foundation, James Cameron, the filmmaker, Seagate, the NFL, a wide range of clients. And so Eric and I have been exploring AI together for about a year and a half, early testers on a lot of the LLMs that came out, and really thinking about where to go with this technology, how to best use it, how to best monetize it. And so after a lot of learning, we started working on predictive formulas, and we were able to generate a master predictive formula, which is essentially an 8-part formula that includes Fibonacci principles, among with many other elements. And one of the cool things about the formula is that it is self-calibrating. There's a lot of really great things that I love about this formula. It's something that I take a lot of pride in, that we take a lot of pride in. But one of the proof is really in the pudding. How good are we at predicting? And so we have run our first predictive models over the last month, where we have exactly predicted the daily spot price of natural gas at the Henry Hub on 3 different occasions out of 5 predictions. The other 2 were off by 2 cents and 12 cents. And then we started running our gold spot price predictive analysis this week. And we were right on the money yesterday. And then today we also predicted the price of gold. Eric can actually show those predictions on the screen. If anyone becomes interested in what we're doing, obviously we can't send you the formula, but what we can send you is a series of future predictions, and you can see exactly how accurate we are. So the proof is in the pudding, and we'd be thrilled to send you some data that you can look and cross-check with to see how effective we are predicting pricing. Right now, we have 5 pricing models. We're predicting natural gas, we're predicting gold, we're predicting coffee, we're predicting corn, and we're predicting crude oil. And we plan to expand those categories out. Although we do use the same master formula, which we consider to be sort of a opus, we correct this formula all the time. So it is self-calibrating. There are also unique points for each of the elements that we are predicting, along with also completely different data sets, of course, for everything that we're predicting. And one of the things that Eric is great at is, we'll have 31 different APIs running for a given predictor, and Eric is simultaneously managing those, 5 back end pulls of all this data at the same time for all of these different formulas, make sure that they are updating correctly, etc. So one of the reasons why we got into predictive technology is because we looked around what was going on with AI. We realized that AI could be helpful for us, both in terms of speed and process. And the other part of it was we didn't see a lot of other people in this space. And then as we were working on it, we saw the emergence of Kalshi, which I think is a really good market validator for what we're doing. Kalshi is growing extremely rapidly. And, what we're doing is sort of an offshoot of that, in that we are predicting the future, but we're predicting more traditional monetary markets in that future. Have I exceeded my 5 minutes?
Well, if you want to have some time for questions, I want to wrap up soon-ish.
Okay, great. Yes, I'd love to wrap up. So we plan to monetize this in a very similar way that I've monetized my IP successfully in the past. We're going to license the technology to partners. We are also going to utilize the technology ourselves and leverage part of the investment into predictive markets. And then there are specific project-based predictive elements that we can bring to bear for certain things. For instance, in California, relatively near us, there are 180 different gold mine claims. We analyzed those gold mine claims and we figured out, first of all, that we didn't want to go into mines. There are these huge tailing piles by these mines. And so these tailing piles contain gold. We did an analysis of these 180 claims and figured out where the 3 best tailing piles were for all these mines and what the grams per ton of tailings were in these mines. So we plan to monetize, again, 3 different ways. 1, traditional licensing, which we're highly skilled at. 2, we're going to leverage the actual markets ourselves. 3, we're going to explore special projects. All of these are relatively low weight lifts to monetize with. And so we feel really confident that we can create substantial shareholder value this way. And hopefully we're looking forward to working with some of you. We're raising $1.9 million at a 7.6 valuation, and feel that is quite equitable. So it's a 25% equity offering to our initial investors. Thanks for listening to the pitch today. Really appreciate it, and appreciate the possibility of predicting the future with you.
All right. Sounds like a good New Year, New Year pitch. So
Tanya, Fabiano
what will
here.
be happening in 2026? Let us know where to put our investments in, and that everybody can benefit from your tool, I guess.
Thank you, Tatiana.
All right.
I have a question, Tanya, please.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this is Fabiano Aguilar from Miami, family office.
Fabiano, yes.
We do have a background in commodities and hedge funds. So my question is, why go through a sale of 25% of your company instead of just leveraging the capital and doing the investment on all these sectors, right? Corn, coffee, natural gas. I mean, one hedge fund could provide you enough capital to maybe maximize your proceeds. I don't understand the licensing model that you're putting.
The licensing
Would-
essentially is exactly what you're talking about. It's partnering with people who can leverage the predictive technologies. So you hit it spot on.
Yeah, but if we were to do that, we wouldn't want anybody else using it, right? So it might be worthwhile for you to just pitch this to very large hedge funds, multi-strategies, and maybe get, I don't know, $500 million, $1 billion allocated to the strategies and
Sure.
become a desk.
We just
right?
actually started doing this, but we've already been approached by KKR and some other entities. And so this is definitely a possibility. The other part of it is that everything that we predict might not match with the specific hedge fund. So there may be multiple hedge funds. Some hedge funds are involved in some commodities and not other commodities, as you know. So it really depends on the specific hedge fund and what they're interested in. But
my recommendation for you, if you go straight to the multi-strategy funds, all of them operate in all these markets. And they have multiple billions of dollars to be invested. If items are accurate enough, you could become a desk within a hedge fund, and I think will be significantly more profitable than the way you're trying to monetize this here.
I think that's a really interesting observation and definitely something that we would be open to. And when I talk about licensing, it really does run the gamut of, exclusive licenses versus non-exclusive licenses. We're always open to that depending on what the deal is. So if a big trading house wanted to come to us, a big hedge fund wanted to come to us, and we had those kind of discussions and they were interested in what we were doing, we'd certainly be open to it. Our goal, we have one goal, which is maximize shareholder value. So whatever is going to get us there, that's the route that we're going to take. Fortunately, because our product is relatively nimble and easy to deploy, we have a good amount of flexibility in how we can do that. And I think your suggestion is an excellent one.
All right, Jean and Eric, thank you guys for your presentation. We will be definitely sharing all today's speeches with our investor network. So more interested investors will be reaching out to you. Also feel free to stay with us and chat with investors in the chat room. We will be sending follow-up emails for your further conversations. And since we have like roughly 30 minutes and 3 more companies, we need to move on to the next pitch right now. Thank
Tatiana,
you, Jean. I'm letting you go. Yeah.
Tatiana, I just want to say how much I appreciate you and what you do with these meetings. And it's been a real pleasure getting to meet you this year. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And best of luck with your fundraising. Hopefully we will talk again soon, and definitely you will get some value from this presentation today. Amazing. Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
You need to run to your next investor meeting. Good luck and happy holidays.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
All right. Happy holidays. Busy founders, busy investors, Christmas Eve. And the more we appreciate everybody in this room, especially investors, for your presence in person. Thank you for not sending your AI agents to these meetings and actually coming and paying your attention, paying your time. And I know your time is extremely valuable, but I want to thank you on behalf of our founders for being with us on this Christmas Eve. All righty, let's move on. And I want to bring to the stage next company is Amplifirm, an AI voice platform delivering enterprise results at 90% lower cost. Joining us from the UK, welcome Ali.
Hiya, thank you so much, Tanya, for the great introduction. I could take it from here. So just in the matter of expedience, I want to keep this just 5 minutes just so that we can make sure everyone gets a time. So let's just make this quick. I'm Ali. I'm one of the co-founders here at Amplifirm. And in the next 5 minutes, what I'm going to introduce to you is how we've solved a problem which is currently present in a $7.8 billion market. And that is that we AI voice agents, they do work. The technology itself is ready, but there's one massive problem, and that is that the economics just simply don't work. Now, current platforms charge anywhere from 18 to 30 cents per minute on every single phone call. We charge 2 cents. That's 90% cheaper than anyone else in the market. We've already proven it works. We have 15 paying customers, and we launched our marketing just about 2 weeks ago. So when we look at the problem, let me show you exactly what's broken in this market. So firstly, it's the prohibitive costs. So right now, if a business wants to make 1,000 5-minute phone calls, they're paying $900 to $1,500 per month in just raw platform fees. For most SMBs, that just does not add up. Then you look at something like technical complexity. So these platforms require you to orchestrate maybe 5 or 6 services. So you're looking at STT, which is speech to text. You're looking at the large language models like OpenAI, Claude API keys. Then you're looking at text to speech, companies like Cartesia, 11 Labs, telephony with Twilio, analytics, etc. You just need a developer that would spend 40 to 60 hours just to set it up before the first productive call. The third one is shallow analytics. Current platforms tell you how many calls you made, but they don't tell you if some calls succeeded, why they succeeded. They don't tell you the temperature. They don't tell you the sensitivity of the data. Now, that's exactly where we come in. We've built AI voice from the ground up. It's not just another GPT wrapper. We've built the infrastructure in-house. So the problem associated with 18 to 30 cents per minute costs through 6 proprietary strategies that we've developed in-house, we've got it down to almost 2 cents a minute, slightly less, and with more and more data processing, that will decrease. Now, 40 hours to deploy, we've made it a one-click integration, takes 15 minutes, and we've piloted this with over 35 different businesses, just in focus groups. And in terms of actionable insights, we have AI-powered analytics. We benchmark, we A/B test different campaigns. So let's just go into a little bit more details in terms of the actual launch. So just in December alone, we've gotten 15 paying customers, roughly 14,000 in current MRR with 3 integrations live. By June 2026, we are projected roughly 150 to 200 customers based on our current growth rate, maybe 150K plus in MRR, and then 15 plus integrations. Now, the actual point is that the 2 cents per minute, we've actually processed 500,000 minutes so far, and every single one of those minutes costs us $0.0198. The model and the actual infrastructure holds in this situation. So we're going after a $49 billion market. Now, if you break it down, we're looking at the European market to begin with, and then we're going to progress abroad. And why Europe? It's mainly because GDPR creates a very strong preference for European providers. Our competitors, Vapi, Retail, Genesis, when they cater to small, medium-sized businesses, there is no compliance thought. Now, secondly, US competitors are focused mainly domestically. And lastly, just because of post-ChatGPT mainstream, there's mainstream AI acceptance. Now, when we actually go into a little bit of detail regarding our competitors, we're looking at either generic platforms like Vapi, Bland, Retail, or we're looking at enterprise platforms like Five9 and Genesis. Core is another example. Now, we're not just catering to small and medium-sized businesses. We are setting up internalized help desks for enterprises. In fact, we're actually in talks with Tata Consultancy Services based out in the UK for our contract starting next year in February. Now, in terms of generic platforms, 18 to 30 cents. Enterprise charge a little bit more, roughly 20 cents plus. Setup time for enterprises is months. It comes in allotments of services that are required as add-ons. You need an IT team. They're all US first, and they have somewhat compliance. Enterprises are always compliant, but it's an add-on. It's an expense. We bring that service from the get-go. Now, when we look at the vision, our vision really has 3 stages. And the first stage is dominating global AI voice through unbeatable economics. We win on cost, we win on simplicity, and we will simply own the market. The second step for us is building the world's largest repository of business conversations. So every call through our platform generates data, millions of conversations across every industry, every use case, and every single geography. And the last thing we want to do is monetize our intelligence. Not just the minutes. We're not just selling the minutes. We want to monetize this intelligence. We want to become the business intelligence layer. We can tell you what works in healthcare sales versus real estate, what scripts work in Germany versus France, what types of objections might kill the deal, how to handle older clients versus younger clients, etc. The platform is it's simply the wedge, and the data is our moat. So in terms of the team, we've run award-winning businesses for the last 2 years alongside me and Ash, where we're co-founders here, and then Nuran is one of our CFOs, sorry. So moving on to our pre-vetted team, again, we are still fairly small. It's a three-man mission. We've made the product in-house, and we're looking to scale. We have signed letters of intent of people waiting to join our company. These are approximately, there's 15 different letters of intent signed with over a century in combined experience. Now, we even have advisors. So we have 5 main advisors. Dominique Burke, who is the ex-group CEO of JLT. He scaled his company from 450 million to a 5 billion Marsh McLennan acquisition. We have Imran, who's the ex-CTO of Compass Group. We have Bala Wiswanathan, who's the ex-COO of Mercer, who ran global operations for $5 billion employee benefits. We have Abhishek Agarwal, who's one of the managing partners at EY. And we have Etienne Oberg, who's the ex-group CIO of L'Oreal. So these are very, very experienced individuals who have signed letters of intent to join our company as an advising board. Now, in terms of the ask, we're raising 4.2 million in our seed round, and it gets us to profitability within roughly 16 months. So 61% goes to people, hiring the team that's waiting, 14% goes to market, scaling customer acquisition, 12.5% towards testing, etc. And by month 36, we're projecting 19.2 million in ARR with 4,500 customers and an 82% gross margin. So let me be very clear about what we've de-risked so far. Technology works, it's live in production, the cost model works, and it's validated with 500,000 minutes behind it. The customers want it. We got 15 paying customers in just 2 weeks, and the market is absolutely massive, $7.8 billion, and it's growing at roughly 34% annually. All we need now is fuel, and that is fuel to scale the market and capture Europe and the US before our competitors can. Thank you so much for listening.
All right, great energy. Thank you so much, Ali and Ampli Firm. Every time I have introduction calls with the founders, I get to see their best pitches. For example, last time you were with your co-founder, it was like a great team pitch. And I just want to say that sometimes what I see when meeting startups first is actually more impressive than so your pitch was great today, but I mean, I remember when we first talked and you were pitching together with your co-founders, it was like double that energy. So definitely American market is waiting for you guys to come and conquer. I see Manny Fernandez maybe wants to give you some feedback or ask a question.
Thank you. I do. Thank you for your presentation. Can you hear me okay?
I can, absolutely.
Okay. So if I'm going to ask you some questions you don't want to cover, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn and talk that way. So I'm familiar with this market. And I'm familiar with VAPI, and as a former background in CS, I know there's a third-party cost always, like the large language model, as well as compute, whatever cloud service you're using. So I'm scratching my head initially thinking, how can you have it that cheap where the third-party cost alone is that much? That's the first question.
I love that you asked that question. I was waiting to go into a bit more detail about that. So one of our cost-saving strategies, which has been copyrighted, is we're running a CMAP engine, which is a conversational mapping engine. Now, this is somewhat of a RAG model that we've built in-house that looks at the tone, pacing, and characters that someone says based on our transcription of the call. Now, when you process 100,000 calls in any niche, it's not 100,000 unique calls, right? objections might be pretty consistent. You might have consistency in questions, consistency in greetings. And every single time, what every single platform does is they generate that response. So it goes back to ChatGPT. It tells it to create the live transcription for the greeting or the objection handling. And this is, in our eyes, very wasteful because what you're doing is you're generating the same thing over and over and over again. So what we've done is we've engineered a solution which actually understands what is coming up frequently, and we hold that in somewhat of a cache. Now, when the call is going on, our predictive engine will then estimate whether this call, like whether what has been said, can be answered with something in cache. And then simply all it is we play the recording. So what that does is it gets rid of the cost associated with text to speech. It gets rid of the cost associated with AI and third-party models as well. So that's kind of why our moat is something along the lines of the more minutes we process, the better we get at any singular niche, because the more audios we hold in cache, basically.
How's it sounding? Thank you. So the handles for the large language model part, but then the compute part, like an AWS or an Azure, there's still a cost for that.
Absolutely. And that's completely factored in to our overall scaling quantity. So with high amounts of upfront payment, we're able to actually leverage a lower cost per storage. And the second thing we've actually done is we've engineered our own data storage system. So how we hold the storage in webs, we have our own in-house solution for that. And I can take you through that a little bit more privately in this sense. So
yeah, so the numbers that you're discussing, it seems to be very small per minute. I don't get where the money is made at.
So there's actually two main sources of revenue. The first one is where we charge a subscription model to be able to use the service. Now, we have different tiers based on different business sizes, and something like 2 cents a minute would require maybe 600 euros. We're targeting the European market. And if you want a pay-as-you-go model, that's roughly like 7 to 9 euros a minute because our cost advantage is still existent on there. So we've processed roughly 500,000 minutes so far, and we make close to 1,100 per customer so far on average.
Okay. So I heard that you said you had 15 paying customers. What was the go-to-market strategy for that?
So basically speaking, we've been in the automation industry for the last 2 years, and we had a lot of clients on platforms like Vapi, Retail, etc. Now, of these 15, we've migrated 3 of our clients from Vapi, and the remaining 12 were actually gotten through email acquisitions and through ad acquisitions. So,
okay. Well, thank you for your questions.
Thank you.
Some feedback, but we'll wait for others if there's any.
Thank you, Manny. Ali, that's a good sign. Investors having conversation with you. That is definitely you are getting interest, and that's a good question to get from the investor. How are you making it so cheap? So I think that is definitely your key advantage over many AI voice companies here in America. So we will definitely plug you in our investor network and help you connect and get some interest from our community. All right. Next pitch, and next we have Newton Graph, the AI thinking partner transforming information into interactive knowledge graphs, and its founder, Julian Arpin. Welcome, Julian.
Hi, thank you so much. I'd like to say happy holidays to everybody, and thank you for joining us here. Let me share my screen so I can show you what we have lined up.
New investors today who haven't heard your presentation yet, so hopefully you will get more questions, and every pitch is a learning, right? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to tell you guys what we have. I'm sure that many of you will find Newton to be highly intriguing. So let's kick it off. If you want to see Newton at this time, you can go to newtongraph.com. The website is hosted, it's live and working. I've built this entire thing from scratch. It was created in order to solve a problem for my younger brother, actually. He's going through university in a computer science program. He was having difficulty structuring his ideas so that he could write essays. I thought, wouldn't it be great if he had a tool that, as he writes, visualizes his ideas and their interconnectedness in real time? And so we built that out, and sure enough, it helped him to deliver higher grades for his writing. At that point, we realized, well, wait a second, we can invert this and we can feed any kind of resource into Newton and then deconstruct it for immediate understanding. And that's how Newton was born. So it has a universal ingestion engine through which you can pass practically any information type. So let's go ahead and dig right in. So here we have a screenshot of a conventional Newton use case. So in the document area, there had been inserted a piece of text about the Dune universe and the characters there, their factions, their relationships, and you're able to chat with your knowledge graph directly. So here I asked Newton, can you tell me about this character's moral alignment? So the node in question pertained to Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV. If anyone here is a Dune buff, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. And Newton was able to observe the graph, read the document, understand the context, build upon the background knowledge baked into the large language model underneath, and then provide the contextual nuance necessary to answer the questions. So Newton really does ingest anything. So more than just text files, you can feed in images, schematics, diagrams, even YouTube videos, websites. You can drop in GitHub repos, and Newton will extract and map out the relationships between the different files. So if we click into this image here, what you can see is a use case in which a famous painting, the Mona Lisa, was ingested by Newton. So all of the core ideas stored within the painting were visualized here. Over here on the left-hand side in the dashboard, you can see various tools. One tool is the executive summary. So Newton is able to look only at the graph and then provide an executive summary based purely on the contents of the graph. Down here, we have the key concepts. So anybody who's familiar with network theory may know when it comes to these networks, there are a few nodes that underpin most of the semantic meaning going on. So these are the nodes that have the most references to them, with the idea being those must be nodes that hold a lot of importance relative to the entire graph. Those that are familiar with Google may recognize some semblance of the PageRank algorithm, where Google will order the list of results shown to the user when you do a Google search based on which domains have the most hyperlinks to them. So another interesting capability of Newton is that it can visualize not just GitHub repos, but bodies of code themselves. And so here what we have is what's called an abstract syntax tree, which is the logical skeleton of a program. And it's been visualized in the same aesthetic as any other knowledge graph, but this is very different. Here you can see we have a built-in IDE. So these are all different pieces of logic that integrate in order to perform the functionality of the program. Here's another exciting tool over on the left-hand side, the topic clusters. So once the graph is visualized, Newton is able to understand holistic neighborhoods of nodes that work together to perform some higher order operation. And this works for any graph, but whenever you couple this with something technical, such as a code base, it means that you can see how clusters of functions work together to perform higher order behaviors. And this means that a technical user can instantly gain insight into a code base in a way that wasn't previously possible. They would have to either go from the bottom up and understand things line by line, hold the insight and the understanding in their mind, or maybe they could start with some kind of AI tool and try to begin at an abstract layer and become more and more specific. Here, they can instantly start from this middle ground where they overall understand what's taking place given all of the disparate happenings, and then figure out exactly where they need to go to make a change. So using a tool like this for onboarding will vastly accelerate any introduction to a new code base or a new team member. Newton is fantastic for creative writing. So this is just a poem about an eclipse. Let's run through it. Sun, I blaze with ancient fire, bold and bare, a canvas stretched across celestial air. Moon, I drift in silence, ghost of night, a watchful guardian of hidden light. When paths align, a fleeting dance, day is shadowed by circumstance. Together, in cosmic rhythm, we entwine, two voices briefly redefined. So there are a few things to take note of here. First off, whenever text is used to generate a node and the relationships in the knowledge graph, there is a correspondence in the form of the color of the highlighting. So here we have an orange highlight over sun, an orange node for sun. orange highlight over moon, and orange node for moon. And the same goes for all of the primary ideas that are intelligently extracted from the piece of writing. Notice when paths align a fleeting dance in blue, this is describing an eclipse, but it wasn't explicitly spelled out. Newton captures that nuance, leverages the semantic capabilities of these large language models to make it easier to understand what's taking place in any form of text in a way that wasn't possible before the recent advancements in the AI revolution. So another exciting mode, this one is an argument mapper. So Newton is able to take an argument such as a debate, a legal text, a philosophical text, and deconstruct it into the core arguments, supporting evidence, potential counterpoints, rebuttals, conclusions, and bring it all together so that you can cut through the fluff and immediately understand the essence of a point that's being made. One of the exciting capabilities of Newton is you can feed in a YouTube video link. Newton will instantly extract the entire transcript and visualize it in as any of these knowledge graphs. So if you put in a video that's 3 hours long of some debate, you can instantly understand in under 1 or 2 minutes all of the main ideas. You don't have to spend 3 hours watching the video anymore. And if you want to, you absolutely can. So this is a video about knowledge graphs that was visualized. We'll move on. Another exciting format that we have here is timelines. So what I did was I put in a link to Napoleon Bonaparte's biography. And so Newton intelligently scraped the page, identified all of the dates, the chronological units, and then mapped those to the events pertaining to them. So that means that now you can start from the very beginning of Napoleon's life and step through it. And if you want to switch between different graphs, you can easily do that. You can query the graphs as we showed before. And if you were to look at the topic clusters, which we saw previously, it will segment the timeline into something like chapters of a timeline, chapters of an individual's life. So you would see Napoleon's early years, his adolescent years, whenever he first joins the military, his rise to power, his eventual fall. And all of these things are spelled out in a way that was previously inaccessible, stored only in the mind. This truly is comprehension embodied. This synthesis layer allows for collaboration in a way that wasn't previously possible. So this is just a conventional flow chart, maybe the sales conversation flow. What happens if the customer happens to branch off in a different direction? What are you going to do to bring things back on track? One of the exciting tools built into Newton is the ability to generate idea bubbles. So you click on a node and you can generate ideas relative to it. There are a few different flavors. You can even have your own custom kind of idea. And then these thought bubbles will shoot out of the node. So if you're using Newton as you're writing your essay, as you're writing your code or doing your research, you can use the idea generator to enrich the context as you go, which means it's no longer AI doing the thinking for you. It's now a matter of AI empowering you to use your critical thinking. And another form that's worth mentioning here, we have a geospatial globe. So if throughout your text there happen to be mentions of real world locations, Newton will identify the locations, query a few APIs to get the latitude, longitude coordinates, map those on this gorgeous globe. It will preserve the relationships between the locations. You can control the globe, scroll around, move back and forth. And as usual, if you click on the text, it will go to the node. If you click on the node, it will scroll down and show you the text. So this means that any piece of information that you're learning, you can understand it from so many directions. You have the timeline, the normal knowledge map, which is a map of concepts, the geospatial globe, the argument mapper. There are even a few more technical options that are there, such as formal logic deconstructions to help philosophers and mathematicians to better understand dense mathematical notation. So I have built this from scratch. I already have hundreds of users. The reviews have all been fantastic. The thing is, I'm actually working as a lead AI engineer in multiple labs. And so while it's great to know that I'm helping people out, I would love to be able to scale Newton up and put it in the hands of those that could use it most. So if we go over to the pricing page here, we currently just have these 3 tiers. Free tier. So if you're a free user, you can still generate the basic concept maps, the knowledge graphs, but you don't get some of the fancier features such as the topic clusters tool. You can't chat with Newton. You can't generate some of the nicer graphs, but you still have as many graphs as you want to generate. And then the pro users get access to all of the features. What I would like to do is raise somewhere between $500K and $1 million so that I can scale up the team and the infrastructure so that we can create a new tier, which is enterprise. Newton has a collaboration feature where if you collaborate, you receive a URL that you can send to other Newton users, and then you're able to work together on the same knowledge graph where user A makes a change, and then that change is reflected in real time for user B if they're in the same session. So if Newton was put in the hands of academic institutions or even creative teams that are collaborating, even project managers could use something like Newton to break down the step-by-step processes of a project. And of course, you can use Newton for things like architectural design, system designs from a software perspective. It is a universal tool, which is both a good thing and a bad thing. The great thing is, once you're locked into Newton, you see the world through fresh eyes, and you can finally understand things immediately that would have previously taken a lot of time. But then also, because you can do anything with it, where do we begin? And these are the sorts of questions that I would love to work together to answer. And then with your help, we can make that happen. So just go to newtongraph.com. You can sign up. All new users get a week of Pro for free. And please do reach out to me, because I would love to help the world by putting Newton in more users' hands. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now.
All right, Julian Arpin and Newton Graph. I keep having next unicorn vibes from your presentations. I hope investors will be able to see through that. I think this is a very disruptive technology, definitely worth exploring. I can see a possible exit strategy for you selling this to some. I hope maybe you will compete with Google, you know. Let's see.
So interestingly enough, Google, they coined the term knowledge graph. So it's right up their alley in a way, even though it's now doing something that wasn't possible before we had this level of natural language processing capability.
Do you want to talk to Google?
Oh, yeah, certainly. I mean, if anybody who's interested, I think Newton can help people. And of course, it can help businesses as well. But enriching insight is something that's priceless. And if you can empower the individual, the downstream effects are huge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. I asked Jay Latta what he thinks of your product.
Thank you for the preso. I'm curious about how really use ready it is, because when you've clicked through, I've seen canvas and so on, so it looked more or less like a prototype that has just basic functionality. I've been amazed because I've been looking for something like this, and I built a small local version. It's a highly pimped Obsidian with a local running LLM that does something like this. Of course, not so high graphically advanced and so on. So to have a little bit more, let's say, valuable insights to talk on a deeper level with you, I would need to try it out, really to have hands-on, to check. What comes immediately into my mind when you've mentioned that the people will not outsource their thinking to a machine, but will be empowered to think and so on. Honestly, my hope is lost. Because when you are looking onto people with their small attention span, it's simply, even McKinsey guys being in a workshop with me, asking ChatGPT what they should ask me about this workshop, it already shows you how doomed we are. Nevertheless, there will still be a huge group of people who are using this kind of technology as a sparring partner. So this type of sorting your thoughts, having it as a sparring partner might be very, very valuable. But I would need to check it first. So maybe
Absolutely.
I will register and we should definitely talk, okay?
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Thanks for the feedback. I will say, whenever you first generate the graph with Newton, it starts at a higher level. And then it's up to you as the user to click a node or select a set of nodes and then trigger the deep dives to ask your questions and continue building things out. So although Newton might help do some of the thinking in terms of visualizing the relationships, it's still up to you as the user to get the most out of it.
So if I upload my 48 terabytes of background material into it, it will immediately...
So let me tell you, you're not going to be able to put in anything over 100,000 or so pages because I'm just doing all of this locally. That's one of the things I want to be able to upgrade and be able to provide better infrastructure. Yeah, but you can do it with documents.
Let's talk. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, how do you generate so much data, Jay? Are you also in engineering?
Quite easy. Nearly 30 years in tech. 20 years in heavy industry as head of innovation, and you are getting a lot of stuff. I mean, it's PDFs, it's manuals, it's scientific research, even videos, and so on and so on, which of course sums up to this kind of stuff so that I can see weak signals, that I can predict my own stuff that is important for my type of work.
He's been waiting patiently for an innovation like
yes, of
graph,
course,
right?
of course.
Waiting for Newton to shed light, to hold up the prism and finally reveal the wavelengths of colors. Okay, great. Are there any other questions, or should I kindly pass off for the remaining time slot?
Stefan, do you have a question?
Well, first of all, I'm definitely going to log in and create an account. So, pretty compelling. Trying to grasp around what the business case for this is. Just one feedback, Julian, is when you do ask for funding, be really careful about asking ranges of funding. So either 500K, be more specific, because it opens a lot of uncertainty when investors hear when there's like this range. But no, happy to get connected with you as well and learn more.
Okay, great. Thank you guys very much. All right, with that, I will pass it off. Thank you all. Happy holidays.
Amazing. Awesome. Thank you for your presentation. And I would like to bring to the stage our final speaker for today. And as you guys notice, the level of energy only grows towards the end of our event. So our next presenter will definitely impress you with his speech. And I want to introduce MedHugs, a doctor-led brand reinventing daily vitamins through mouse-dissolving stripes, a very unique innovation. I haven't come across anything like it earlier, and so I am pleased to introduce to you Dr. Dharmdev Joshi. Please join us on this stage.
Oh, thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you so much, guys. I'll just share my screen. Perfect, guys. Am I able to? Yeah. Are you guys able to see it?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. I know this is completely different from what has been talked till now. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dharmdev Joshi, and I am right now here to help you with my MedHug journey itself. And the simpler way to say MedHugs is it's an easy way to take your vitamins. So let me just imagine one of the problems that what really started this whole process was my niece Raji. She was a preemie baby. She couldn't swallow pills and capsules, and because of which she developed iron deficiency anemias. And her struggle was something that led me to find the solution for that. But once developing this problem itself was really huge. Being a physician, I talked to my patients, and what scale out was the amount of problem is this segment itself. So around 20% of the global population and 1 in 6 Americans have difficulty swallowing. So let me just imagine anyone who takes vitamins and supplements, and let me know if someone likes taking pills and capsules, because none of them does. So that is where the whole market is, because millions have problems or hate taking pills and capsules. And this itself leads to them not being consistent with their daily vitamin needs. And that is what leads to worsening of health and nutrient deficiency. And the problem seems really big, but for us, the solution was way more simpler. A simple little strip that once placed on tongue, it dissolves in seconds. You don't need water. You don't need to swallow it. It directly absorbs into the blood through the blood vessels in your mouth and with a greater taste. So it's faster, better, and way more efficient. And currently, we have 6 products in the market. All of our products are completely vegan, completely preservative-free, 0 calories, no sugar added. And we have developed around 120 products, but we have just launched these 6. in the market right now. And the biggest push that we find ourselves is our customers, because they have been really supportive and they love our products, as well as around 5,000 healthcare professionals that I've engaged with in my network as my colleagues and my friends, and also all over the US itself. And they have really loved the idea. The reason is just the ease and the results. And the market itself is pretty huge. I'm just concentrating on the market of vitamin supplements for people having pill fatigue and swallowing challenges is a huge global market of around $30 billion. Our beachhead, which we are trying to target currently, is the US market itself, which is of 26 million users with an annual market size of $1.1 billion per year. And what we aim to achieve is $56 million and an ARR in the next 5 years itself. And our business model is also pretty simple. We are just a direct D2C website platform currently. We also have on board now our distribution partners with Sensora, who is going to help us with expansion in retail, wellness spaces, local pharmacies, as well as gyms. And we are also on marketplaces currently with Amazon and Walmart. And where we actually win is in our gross margins itself. So we have an 84% gross margins with a selling price of $30, and the cost of goods landed is around $4 to $5. And this is where we think we are on track, because we are on track of a revenue of $10,000 with an inventory to support our next push for the next year itself. We would be cash positive by next year itself. And what we are hoping to achieve by year 5 is around $40 million in an annual ARR. Our go-to-market strategy is also simple. We start as a digital marketplace, which is a D2C website itself, from where currently all our sales are happening. We would like to grow into retail spaces. We already have products for pet market. We have products for herbal products, and we are also developing pharmaceutical products, which we would like to launch in next 5 years. And we would have, with the backing of this physical presence as well as digital presence itself, would like to scale up globally also. And what we think is a competitive edge is just being faster, cleaner, and way more efficient than anything in the market currently. We have a much more better absorption capacity, as well as the amount of drug that is needed is very, very minimum to any pills and capsules in the market. And why we think we can be the successful team is because of our team itself. So I have a physician background. I have been a physician since last 8 years, having managed more than 200,000 patients. My co-founder, Medhavini, has been a social worker since 40 years and a consumer court judge, helping us with the legalities and the regulatory aspect. My co-founder, Devashi, who is a Cornell graduate, has a master's in management and product management, helping us with the product designing as well as the product formulation also. And if we have any problems, we have the advisory team to help us with, and which is the business management advisors, our technical advisors, market advisors, and medical advisors too. Our ask is pretty simple. It's $450,000 as a pre-seed round. We are completely bootstrapped. We have invested ourselves around $130,000. And what we would require the funds to mainly put our effort into our marketing and sales effort, because we have the inventory that we can really push for the next year itself. The next would be the manufacturing and the operations, which would be the main way we would like to split our raise itself. Our exit strategy is also really simple. We hope to get acquired in the next 3 to 5 years. Currently, the bigger buyers, which is Unilever, Bayer, are actively looking in acquisition for something with a different formulation and a different form factor. And that is where we think we would be likely be acquired by these bigger pharmaceutical companies. And why invest now is because we are at a junction where people are looking for a different solution. They are tired of taking the usual gummies. They're tired of taking the usual syrups, pills and capsules, and they want something which is easier, convenient, faster, and much more efficient. And the potential of it is really huge, with a really good return on investment in the next 5 years itself. And that is all that is for MedHugs, and would really like to hear or answer any questions that you would have. Thank you so much, guys.
I finally see Shubham Desai. I've been trying to call you and to join the conversation, to have a comment or a question. Curate forum people in this call do want to join, to ask or to comment. Shubham, are you with us? Copy.
No, I think he has a pretty clear way forward and has a profitable way forward, which is very important. And the profitability projection is something which a lot of companies lack, and that is where I have seen the investment interest gravitating towards lately.
Thank you so much.
Compliments. Yeah, I also think this is very strong traction that you guys have and really unique product. So as I mentioned, it's a unique problem to solve, and you seem like to be the first one to figure out that there's a problem around the pill taking. People are taking increasingly more supplements, vitamins, and I think that in the future it will only be growing trend. So I think you should really take the market right now. And hopefully, okay, we have in the room, we have Stefan Reiki, we have Jay Latta, we have Manny Fernandez might have left, we have Andrea Lee from Lee Family Office, we have Dmitry Dubagraev, we have Fabiano from Miami Family Office. So we still have a handful of investors. Do you guys want to comment? This is our final pitch for today.
So just quick question. So this is similar to like those breath strips that you put in your mouth that melt in your mouth. Is there any?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Is there any intellectual property or any type of protection that you anticipate having or defensibility in your approach?
Yes, we do. So what we have is for a formulation itself, and we are also applying for our patents to increase the number of doses that we can put on a strip. So that is what is going to come in 2026 and 2027 in terms of increasing the amount of active ingredients that we can put on a single strip.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, this is Fabiano. Quick question on following up on the answer is, so right now you wouldn't be able to do, for example, the multivitamin, you couldn't compare to a 1-a-day pill, for example, right? Because you cannot add the same amount.
No, we actually are able to do it because what we have is the amount of ingredient that we actually need to get directly absorbed in the blood is very minute. What happens with the pills and capsules is it has to go through the gut health, so it has to go into the stomach, it has to dissolve in the stomach. So a lot of ingredient gets destroyed in this whole process. For us, because we are actively taking absorption directly into the blood, the amount that we require is very minimal. So we're actually able to get multivitamins of 100% daily allowance dose in a single strip. So we have on a single strip, we have been able to get up to 11 essential vitamins and minerals, including vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K. We have also been able to put in iron supplements also on a single strip for the daily allowance of 100% daily allowance for the day.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Any final thoughts, questions for our Dr. Dharmdev?
Perfect.
All right. Well, congratulations. We will keep you posted on the feedback from our investor network. We will be definitely sharing your information with our community. So in the days to come. And by the way, as I mentioned, this video will be on YouTube. So throughout the holiday season, many investors will be watching, and keep your communication channels open to not miss your deal offers, right? And investors in this room today will have a priority, of course, and you will have a first introduction, and we are looking forward to hearing about the follow-up conversations from this meeting. All right, so And that was all our pitches for today. And thank you all our founders for your disciplined, thoughtful pitches. And thank you to all our investors for your insightful questions and your feedback. For the next steps, as I mentioned, pitch decks and investor contacts and video recording will be shared with all participants already tomorrow. So you can do your follow-ups and be proactive about the follow-ups, as you know, founders. Investors, feel free to reach out to our brilliant founders. Today, we had a really bright constellation of really strong founders, strong pitches, and feel free to directly reach out and connect, schedule one-on-one calls, and maybe make some deals by the end of this year. And this concludes our final Startup Investor Pitch Launch of 2025. To our founders, we wish you great success in the next steps of your fundraising journey. Our investors, thank you again for your support, for your time, for your continued engagement with our global founder community. And it was a pleasure hosting you all today. It was Startup Investor Pitch Launch. Your host, Tanya Mitchell. We look forward to bringing more pitches and investment conversations to you in 2026. Happy holidays, everybody. Wishing you a successful year ahead, full of smart deals in 2026. Many new investors, many new presentations, pitches, and eventually you're going to land on that deal. And we will help you as much as we can, of course, with that process. Merry Christmas to all, and any final thoughts, remarks, open mic at the end. And thank you again all for joining.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Same here. Merry Christmas, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right.